What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to today's episode of Solutions. So, on today, I'll be discussing why I decided to become abstinent until marriage, and it's going to be a little bit of a surprise to me as well. I actually have no idea what the questions are, so everything that y'all hear is going to be the raw truth and what comes to me in the moment. So, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I pray that y'all having a blessed week, and enjoy the video. Peace out.
So Cam, let's start out with this question. First, what made you stop having sex? What was your decision in you saying, this is it, I'm waiting until marriage to have sex?
Initially, when I came back, I used to go to a HBCU my freshman year, Southern University, go Jaguars. But I came back at the time. I didn't know that it was God, but he ended up speaking to me his own language. That's when it went from religion to relationship for me. Those of y'all that have a real relationship, you know the difference. If you don't, maybe this example will help you out. So when I came back from Southern, that was basically the last time that I had been with anybody. She was cool, but I knew that that wasn't the place for me. And when I came back, I ended up getting in the Word, and what I did was I was just reading like 4 pages a day, 2 first time I wake up and 2 before I go to sleep, and God started to speak to me. As I was reading in numerical order, and he would speak to whatever I was dealing with at the time. And this was going into the summer, so over the summer I ended up talking to my most recent ex as of right now, which was like summer 2022, and I was talking to her, and you know, she presented as a woman of God, and our relationship became intimate way too fast, to be honest. And it got to a point to where we were basically close, and I wasn't doing my part as a man of God to lead her in, I say, purity, whatever you want to call it, because I do believe in getting married before you lay with somebody for multiple reasons, which we'll most likely get into on today. But after one time where we had went to her house, and then we went to like a park, and then we were back in the truck. I was in my mom's truck at the time because my car had just gave up on me basically, and I was finna get a different one. But we were doing what I was calling line dancing. This is kind of a personal topic, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Either way, on the way back, I could really like feel the conviction in my chest, and I ended up falling asleep driving my mama's truck on the highway, and I hit the viaduct on the left side and ended up crossing 4 lanes of traffic at like 11 o'clock at night. Her truck was totaled, but that was God's way of saying, if you lay with the woman that I designed for you before you're married, I'm going to kill you. And some of y'all may be like, that may be kind of harsh, or I may be saying whatever, but I felt the conviction in my chest. And it was times that I had been with her in close situations before where I also felt the conviction, and he spoke to me through signs as well, on top of how I was feeling. But this time was like a once and for all, like putting a nail in a coffin type of situation. So I stopped talking to her, and from that point on, like, that was all I needed, because that was all I needed to get right. So everybody after that, it was really a matter of just discernment as far as determining what women I associate with moving forward. And I only seen one that caught my eye ever since. So that's where we are now. Hello. What's going on, y'all? It's Cam from Solutions. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to all the black-owned businesses out there. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there. With that said, I hope y'all enjoy the video, and that y'all have a blessed day.
Story, man. So next question, what was the light bulb that went off, and for the sake of the video, we're going to use the very popular term no fapping? What was the light bulb that went off in your head that was like, I'm going to stop doing this?
Honestly, when I came back from Southern, at this point, God was like, you can't lay with the woman until you married. So that's where I got the whole line dance ideology from. You're going to pick up on it if you haven't already. But I was like, I'm cool. I could just be to myself basically. And then my first time doing it, when I came back, I had a blowout on the side of the damn Ryan. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I gave God a fist bump on the side. And those of y'all that are familiar with Chicago, I was in the express lane. And I think I was on like probably in the 40s. And the next exit wasn't for over 10 blocks. So the next exit to get off was like 55th. And then I'm getting off, going to a gas station, and my car is down on 55th. And it's like, I forgot how late it was, but it was dark. It had to be like at least 8, 9. So I'm getting off on 55th to put air in my tire. So that was basically the same day type of thing. So I recognized it. I was like, okay, cool, I gotta leave this alone. It happened again. The second time it happened, I was walking my dog, and my dad's work hours were kind of strange at that point in time. He was working a lot longer hours because it was like peak season or whatever. So my dog was super hungry, but I always walk him as soon as I come in because you have to walk him before you feed him. Otherwise, he most likely gonna use the bathroom in the crib. So I walked him. He overly hungry, so he picked something up off the sidewalk to eat it. And I shouldn't have did this, but I clearly see that it was God's plan. I tried to take it out of his mouth, and he bit my hand. But he bit my left hand. You got He bit my left hand, so I'm like, yeah, you could kind of see the scar still, but it ain't as bad. I'm like, bro, and the funny part is, I told my homie like the next day. I think the only reason I told him was because we was supposed to be going hooping or something, and I was like, I can't do it. He was like, dang, fo, you can't even so-and-so no more. I'm like, dang, I think that's when I had the revelation. So after that, I just deaded it. It was really like a mentality, like, for those of y'all that's probably dealing with like an addiction, I'd say I, number one, did something to replace it, because everybody gonna tell you to pray about it that's either a so-called Christian or a true man of God, but you do have to find something to replace it with for the time being until the desire is just dead, honestly. Because I ain't gonna say you gonna stop desiring your woman, because that's dead. That's not gonna happen, but your ability to control yourself will get better. And honestly, it is beneficial if you really want to, say, save yourself for your woman. Or I actually got to speak a little bit about that. Like, honestly, I feel like you need to wait, because you don't want to have kids before you married. If you don't feel like you could marry the woman that you with and spend the rest of your life with her, you honestly shouldn't be laying with her, especially raw. Because now it's like, in the event that it does happen, you have no choice but to be there for that child. And now y'all are co-parenting, which is all too prevalent in our community. And I come from that type of situation, and I have relatives that are in that situation. So learn from other people's situations, because I don't want to say mistake. Everybody blessings is different, but learn from other people's situations. If you don't want to put yourself in that position, then you have to make the decision like, okay, first of all, if you don't see yourself marrying her, you need to dead it anyway. Oh, bro. On top of that, like, you making a decision now is what's going to set you up for success in the future, and therefore putting your actual kids in a position of success as well. So,
okay. We're going to get into the benefits of this lifestyle. What are some of the challenges you go through with being abstinent?
No, this is real. So I had number one, my ex, who God told me to, number one, stay away from, and to not to lay with my woman until I'm married. She hit me up out the blue. Not even the one that happened recently. This happened like maybe like a month after we stopped talking, and then a month after that, and she sent me a picture in like my Nike Tech hoodie. She got one of my gray Nike Tech hoodies, and I was like, just keep it, because I don't need to be seeing you. I don't need to be with you. I need to stay away from you, because physical touch is intimate in itself, regardless of what it is, in my opinion, for me personally. So she hit me up again out the blue like last month, and she was like, did you mean to call me? I'm like, your number not saved in my phone, but I was signing up for a gym membership, so I couldn't even give her the attention to like diffuse it and instantly hang up the way that I needed to. But at the same time, I'm not rude. So when I talked to God, I was like, "What you want me to do?" He was like, "Hang up on her."
Ooh.
I'm not just gonna hang up. I'm gonna be like, "Okay, yeah, I didn't mean to call you. Bye," basically. So after I hung up, I'm filling out a gym membership. I already was going to this gym, but I was on somebody's family plan. When they kicked me off, I went and got my own. It is what it is. But I'm filling it out, and the first word that I see when I turn the page is the word covenant. And I'm like, this is a gym contract. So it's like a contract, basically. It's like a page full of words. So the first word that I see is covenant. And I'm like, I circled it. And I turned it around to the person that was at the desk. I'm like, do you understand that this is the first word that I saw when I flipped to this page? And I was just on the phone with my ex who called me out the blue from I ain't spoken to in over a year, like literally over a year at that point in time. So that was like, okay, cool. The difficult part is choosing not to go back to that person and choosing to trust in what God has told you and choosing to avoid substituting that person with somebody else, because physical touch is something that we all crave, honestly. And it was another person that hit me up out the blue, bought me something for my birthday. It was random, but she was cool. Female I always had a platonic relationship with, but I had to go in person to pick up the gift. And it was like I could feel like the temptation to be physical, basically. So that's something that you have to choose to deny. Honestly, what helps me is knowing that God set a woman aside for me and knowing that she is worth the sacrifice, and knowing that I'm at a stage where my kids and my wife and ministry is really the only reason for living. Because in my opinion, if you're not walking in your purpose, there's no reason. You just waking up going through the motions every day, and that's not life, that's survival. And I feel like we as a people are perpetually caught in this survival mode, and it's killing us, like legitimately killing us. So I chose life, and that's what you have to do every time the temptation arises.
Okay. And that even, I guess, goes for the no fapping as well. Like everything you said, like, because those were like more of the partnership challenges, but like for people that struggle with the other aspect as well, like how has that challenged you?
Honestly, that's a very real addiction, and I feel like for me personally, it was same thing. Like your why has to be strong. Like some people, y'all just in high school, whatever, but for me, knowing like it's a woman that God designed for me, and that I'm gonna be loyal to, and she gonna be loyal to me, and we gonna be in perfect peace, basically, meaning ministry, finances, relationship, and other relationships as well that aren't like directly intimate, meaning platonic, whether it be a male or female. Knowing that everything is in alignment was enough for me to like, okay, that's what keeps me from doing it mentally. And whenever the temptation arises, I try to pray over it, to be honest. If you feel like the prayer ain't working or the prayer ain't strong enough, just trust and believe that the first time you pray, God remember it, and that what you substituted with is sufficient. And that's what God basically killed the temptation, honestly.
Okay.
And you have to find something to replace it with. Whether it's going to work out, if you feel like it's late or whatever, I say getting a word, just because that's like you seeking God. And if that still ain't good enough, I say same thing with any other addiction, wean your way off of it. Like try to reduce the amount of times that you're doing it until eventually, like for me, I'm like, bro, this is garbage. In clean terms, I'm like, this is garbage, bro. Cause now I know, like, I don't know. If you a man, you can just pray like he show you who your wife is, or honestly, that's gonna come with a lot of preparation. But when he does, it's gonna be like, okay, that's who you gonna think about. And you stopping this is what's necessary for you to get to the level that you need to be, for you to grow into the man that you need to be for your wife. And knowing that is enough for me. That's what keeps me where I am right now.
Okay. So we talked about the challenges of both. What are the benefits? And also with the benefit, do you feel that you are more spiritually intellect? Do you feel your spiritual connection to God more since being abstinent? So I kind of gave you like two questions in one.
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'd say yes. And it's not going to be no, oh yeah, God talking to me now, whatever. Like, honestly, fasting, like, God will actually speak to you. When I was doing my discernment prayer the first time I met my ex, who, if you paid attention to the timeline I met after I started to develop a real relationship with God, he separated us in a fast. So I was fasting, and I'm like, you need to make this happen like a once and for all type of thing, because I feel like we on some BS, and I know we are because I feel a conviction. Honestly, I say yes just because you making the sacrifices that are necessary for you to be the person that you need to be, for you to receive what it is that you're praying for, who it is that you're praying for, is going to help you grow your relationship. And that's when you start to see the promises that God has spoken to you about. And honestly, God will speak to you through a song. It may not even be a holy song according to people. It may be a worldly song, whatever. God can speak to you through vehicles, random signs, like anything. God can literally speak to you through anything. So that's a concrete way that I believe that it helped me strengthen my relationship with him. But it's not going to be an instant thing. I ain't gonna lie, none of this is instant. Some of you all may have to go through an instant process based on where he has you and what he's bringing you to. But for me personally, it was over time, a sense of wisdom that was downloaded unto me, put it that way. So that's how I feel it's helped me grow. And if you struggling to hear God's instructions, like I said, do it fast. Like, eat once every 24 hours. Or you could do a fast for something that you know, like say smoking or drinking. You could do like, I'm not gonna drink this day, or I'm not gonna smoke this day, or I'm not gonna do it as much as I used to. And some of that stuff is bad for certain people. Some of it God really doesn't care about. That's when you get into the relationship side of things. Like, I do feel like a lot of Christians can be hypocritical, but a man or woman of God is gonna meet you where you are, and is gonna acknowledge that if you're doing something, that's what God predestined over your life, and they're going to plant seeds and allow you to grow into who it is that you were designed to be. And that's when God is going to show you the signs that I was talking about. Like for me, like I shared, he speaks through cars, music, TV shows, the whole 9 yards. And the timing, pay attention to the timing, because that's how you going to know when it's from God. So, absolutely, it helped me grow in my spiritual journey.
As Cam said, as we kind of alluded to earlier, why is it important to have one partner?
This is really something, if you really want to live in perfect peace, this is something that I noticed. Honestly, I've never been the type of person to talk to multiple females at once, but I have been on BS. Like when I was at HBCU, I was on BS. I was a Christian, whatever. I didn't really have a relationship with God, and I wasn't doing whatever, but I wasn't being intentional. When you see how important it is to be intentional, like I, at this point in my life, have seen examples of how you having one woman, the woman that was designed for you. It's the difference between having a woman and having the woman that was designed for you in your life. Number one is perfect peace. Regardless of what your house business dynamic is, it's perfect peace, and you knowing like, this is the woman that was designed for me. So you choosing to walk that path, people like, oh, the world, and what if she do this, and testing the car and all of that. If you raise your kids the same way that I'm speaking up right now, and that becomes the norm in our community, then we'll begin to see the interpersonal changes that are necessary for us to be better as a people. Because people be like, oh, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. If you make money and then move into an area where it's predominantly other races that don't approve of your kind, does it make sense? You just made money, but does it make sense? We have to have the interpersonal skills aspect down packed, and that comes with you being intentional. It ain't no point in you engaging intimately with multiple people. Honestly, it just get messy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Realistically, you can have one partner that you're intimate with, that you build a family with, which is super important for me. I come from, okay, let me put it this way. I come from 2 one-parent households. My parents have never been married, separated my whole life. Only memories I have of them are kind of trying to avoid one another at events that they had to go to because it was about me. Honestly, that starts with you. That starts with the whole abstinence journey. That starts with you. And when you're intentional in who you select, and you're intentional in how you're moving and how you're presenting yourself, which is very important for both men and women, now you're going to attract the caliber of partner that you're looking for. And you can only do that when you're thinking, I'm going to be with one person and we're going to put it together and we're going to be imperfect. We're going to build together. A lot of people, a lot of women like, oh, he ain't got no money and da-da-da-da. A lot of these people that you see, they women with supporting them. Like, men need support. Like, you may see somebody like, oh, I don't care about females. Let's keep it clean. I don't care about females. Realistically, that's like a defense mechanism. And you have to see through that. A lot of women do see through it. And a lot of what we see nowadays with the niggas ain't nothing mentality, which is the clean version as well, that's projecting. That's just black women reflecting what European culture has taught black men to do to black women. And now you strategically remove the father figure in the household. You have no choice but to either be a gang member or act like everybody else in your community, where we all know the shared goal is either in jail or dead. A lot of people don't see how you being with one person that can give you good insight, that can help you build your brand, that can give you ideas that's in it for like genuine reasons. Like, if you feel as though you have to do a prenup for your marriage, you're probably not marrying the right person. You have to be in alignment with that person. You have to be locked in. That's like worldly, that's a worldly mentality. Because if y'all are truly building together, she may actually be worth half of what you own. If you don't feel as though she bringing that type of value to the table, you shouldn't be getting into a relationship with her in the first place. Ain't nothing like a strong black family where the dad come to the crib, the kids and the wife, they there, they having a good time. Everybody got genuine smiles on their faces. If you want a genuine smile on your face, you have to learn what the people that have genuine smiles on their faces are doing, and you just got to implement it, which may be easier said than done based on your situation. But at the end of the day, like I said, we choosing life over here, bro.
All right, so for the last question, what role do you think the parents play in a child's life that affects this topic?
So let's use Chicago for an example. A lot of what you see the youngins, the whole YN movement. A lot of that is because there's a lack of strong father figures in the household. I'm not gonna use names, but I was in the household recently and they were all women. The biological relatives were all women. And the young men, the non-biological relative was like, you need to go get the cooler out the truck. You need to put the drinks in the cooler. And the young man was like, whatever. Now, if you have a man in the house and they groom them to be men, like, you shouldn't be letting a woman do any physical labor while you're present, whether you with them or not, whether it's pumping gas, whether it's holding the door. That type of stuff those are the fundamentals for the family and the community. Because now you got a community of young black men that treat women right. You got a community of women that are respecting the men and that are choosing to be exclusive with a man, and men that are choosing to be exclusive with a woman because they respect one another. If you a young black man and you go to somebody's house, you go to your girl house. Let's say you go to your girl house and her dad is there. You not finna just go in there, oh yeah, I'm finna sleep with her and go on about my business. To take it even further than that, if she presented herself, she not wearing BS. Let's just say the BS. She not wearing BS. She not wearing bonnets in public. She not wearing see-through clothes. She present herself as though she's a woman. like she's, let's just say mature, because you may not even be grown yet. She's presenting herself as though she's mature and she has self-respect. Your approach is going to be totally different. You're not even going to feel comfortable going in there laying with her. Number one, they going to hear you. Number two, what's going to happen when you come out that room? Number three, if she letting you do it, who else is she letting you? You know what I'm saying? All of that starts with parenting. The father figure has to be there. And on top of that, the father figure has to be held accountable, number one, by his father figures. I say father figures because not everyone has it that. Like, I don't know my granddad on my father's side. And I tell him all the time, like, you the kind of dad that other people wish they had. And for those of you all who that may have hit home, be the difference. You can be the difference in your child's life, which is why everything that I just shared is in alignment. Parenting controls how that kid acts in school. Parenting controls what they doing all year, shorty. I play with guns. Like, you sound like a goofy. You need to be a businessman. You need to walk in your purpose, bro, because that's where the fulfillment is gonna come from. A lot of people try to be like other people because they trying to seek fulfillment in things that are not fulfilling. You have to be intentional. That young man is gonna do exactly what he sees you doing. If he see you selling weed, he's going to sell weed. If he see you selling drugs, he's going to sell drugs. And then when you try to stop him because you want a better life for him, he's going to be frustrated because you're stopping him from what you've raised him on. Kids are going to do what they see you do, regardless of, oh yeah, do as I say, not as I do. That's not going to cut it no more for our people. If y'all want to do better as a community, as a family, as individuals, do as I say and not as I do is not going to cut it no more, because there's no discipline to follow up with that at this point in time. Sometimes you got to physically discipline your kids. I ain't saying put your hands on them. I'm saying spankings are healthy. I'm saying, put it this way. When we raise our kids, I'm going to tell them why. I'm going to tell them why they shouldn't be doing something the very first time. And then if you do it again, now I have free reign to tell you not to do it again. If you do it again, then you're going to get spanked, because at this point you're just being disrespectful. And that structure is what households without a father figure lack. And then when you have a whole community full of households that lack that father figure structure, that are positive role models, that are businessmen, that are like positive influences in the community, then you're going to have nothing but kids that seem to be destroying the community, when in reality they want the same stimulation that you seek. They want the same resolution that you seek, but they don't have it. They don't have peace within themselves. Some of them may be on edge. You may do something that seems simple or make a quick movement, and they may be ready to basically get into a physical altercation with you, because that's how they reflexes has trained them based on the community that we've built over time. And this is a both black and white thing, because yes, it's systematic, but we as black people, we are the ones that allow it to be a perpetual issue. You can't expect massa to save you. It starts with you as the parent, as the black man, as the black woman, in that order. Because if the woman leaves the man, that family is done before it's even started. With that said, man, I pray that y'all enjoyed the video. I pray that I either planted a seed in somebody, spoke to somebody regarding their situation. If y'all feel as though it's something that I should have went more in detail on about in this video, drop that down below. If y'all got other topic suggestions, drop those down below as well. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Man, I pray that y'all have a blessed day, like I said, and peace out.